Welcome. My name is Jeffrey. So as mentioned before, I work in PT Hanang. It's an Indonesian distributor and system integrator. So we have been in business since 1992. We represent mainly Honeywell. So maybe some of you have heard of this brand. It's an American brand, and they focus a lot on control system and automation. So hopefully you will learn valuable things today on how to make your business more competitive, safer, and with better product quality. So let's have a look. Okay, so here's the topic guide. Just a brief overview of what things we'll talk about today. So the first part is we'll mainly cover the reasons. So you're probably all quite aware of what the reasons are. And then we'll go ahead onto case study and trends. So you will see relevant information for your factories. Okay, so as we know as business owners, the main thing you actually want in the end is the net profit, right? So it's a factor of three things. So revenue, as well as expenses, and finally the cost of production, which is COGS, cost of goods sold. So the first part, you obviously know the revenue is to do with how to sell more. So that's to do with branding, product, and things like that. The second part is the expenses, things such as electricity, rent, and all these other costs. And then finally is the cost of goods sold, which is how much does it cost to make your finished product. That's a component of these three things: labor cost, and then cost of waste product. So that's usually products that you already made but fail the QC, quality control process. So you cannot sell to the customer. So it becomes waste. And then the third component is productivity, in that how much can your factory make in one day or one shift. Now, these three things are usually the main reasons why a lot of factories automate, right? And this is the core of what we are trying to improve with our service. Okay, so why do so many factories automate? And you will see in developed economies, you will see there's usually more automation. In developing countries such as Indonesia and maybe Myanmar, the level of automation is less. But the reason why eventually most places automate is because, number one, is usually labor costs become more and more expensive over time. In Indonesia, labor costs each year usually go up 5, 10, 15% every year. And then you still have to take into account things like health insurance and other things. So these things will make your production cost increase compared to automation, where it's usually initial capital expenditure, but after that, it's very low maintenance and definitely do not go up in price every year. So the main thing why companies automate is to reduce the labor costs required for manufacturing. Number two, which is less known, is you get usually improved product quality. So we will go into the case study and you will see what I mean by this. But improving product quality is very important if you are to get the most out of your revenue. So reducing waste material and improving consistency of product so that your customers get the same product every time. The final thing usually is for safety. So we have had many customers where they get accidents Sometimes you get factory fire because of a process that go bad. Sometimes there's things where you did not monitor the process enough, or the local operator is distracted, and so they did not monitor properly. This is a factor that can potentially be a lot of money, right? So in summary, lower cost of goods sold will mean higher net profit. Now, not all automation is the same. Now, the process that we do is the table on the left. So we call it process automation. So things like heating and cooling, batching, other industrial process, mixing, things like this, compared to task automation. So the main difference is usually with the table on the right, you can already buy a complete machine, right? So things like a bottling machine, maybe a noodle maker. So you just put in the raw material and it come out with the finished product. Printing machine. So these kind of machines, we do not do them. They are not our expertise. What we do is mostly usually a whole factory of automation, um, and then we will provide parts and components of that system, right? Now, can my factory become automatic? Almost always the answer is yes. Other than factories where you need special human skills, such as probably maybe like a cup factory where you need to make the cup by hand, like a handmade cup factory or things like that. But most factories can, and most factories always go to some percent of being automated. Some of the main actions that can go automated is things like opening, closing valves, turn on or off pumps, agitator, blower, or your boiler machines, reading all sensors on the field, temperature, pressure, flow, level, right? Things like that, as well as batching. So batching is I want to create 1,000 liter of product. That is called batching. It's very hard to do with manual labor, and it takes a lot longer per process.